Calaroga Shark Media. Hello and welcome to Murder Weekly. This episode is titled Shadow of the Nexus.
The Nexus Nightclub was known for its legendary cosplay parties. Nexus was a sanctuary for the city's nerdiest and most passionate fans of comics, video games, and sci-fi. The club's interior, adorned with memorabilia and pulsating with electronic music, set the perfect stage for escapism. Detective Alex Mercer, clad in plain clothes, found himself amidst a riot of colors and fantastical characters. He had been called to the club following a tragic and mysterious incident at the end of a cosplay party. A participant, known only by their character name Raven Shadow, was found unresponsive in a secluded corner of the club. The club was dimly lit, the air thick with the remnants of fog machine mist and the electric energy of the night's revelries. Cosplayers in elaborate, lovingly crafted costumes mingled and danced, creating a surreal scene. The club's walls were lined with posters of iconic superheroes, and replica props from famous movies hung from the ceiling, casting eerie shadows. Alex's attention turned to the victim. Raven Shadow was known for their detailed and authentic costume interpretations. Tonight, they had chosen a character from a popular dystopian series, complete with intricate body armor and a full-face mask. The outfit was a blend of dark hues, predominantly black with accents of deep, shimmering purple that seemed to change shades under the club's varying lights. It was crafted primarily from high-quality leather, tailored to fit her form with precision. The leather clung tightly, accentuating her curves while allowing enough flexibility for movement. Her shoulders were draped with a flowing cape that shifted from black to purple, depending on the angle and lighting. The mask was a deep, glossy black, with hints of purple around the eyes, which were covered with a see-through mesh that allowed her to see while concealing her identity. Completing the ensemble were a pair of high leather boots, reinforced for support but styled to match the aesthetic of the costume. The boots reached up to her mid-thigh, with buckles and straps that added both texture and functionality. It was the mask, Alex noted, that might have played a part in the tragedy. There were no visible openings for breathing. The detective began his investigation by questioning the club's owner, a man known as DJ Oracle, who was both revered and feared in the cosplay community. Oracle sat across from Detective Mercer. Oracle, real name Sam, was a cosplayer known for his villainous roles, exuded a mix of arrogance and unease. "Sam, tell me about your relationship with Raven Shadow," Detective Mercer began, his voice even. "We were competitors, that's all. Her costumes were impressive," Sam admitted reluctantly, his eyes avoiding the detective's steady gaze. "Sure, I was jealous. Who wouldn't be? But that doesn't mean I wanted her dead." Mercer noted the begrudging respect in Sam's tone, mixed with a palpable envy. The detective inspected the club's CCTV footage. He noticed a figure, dressed as a notorious villain from the same dystopian series, interacting with Raven Shadow just before the incident. This person identified as Sam Jenkins, a rival cosplayer known for his competitive nature with a character named Breathtaker. Detective Alex Mercer introduced himself. What he got back was creepy. "I am Breathtaker, bringer of eternal sleep," the suspect declared, his voice deep and resonant. Mercer, unfazed by the theatrics, leaned forward. "Mr. Breathtaker, I need to ask you about the incident at Nexus Nightclub, the death of Raven Shadow." Breathtaker's eyes, lined with dark makeup, seemed to pierce through the dimness of the room. Ah, the mortal coil shed in an instance of eternal rest. A fascinating concept, Detective. Mercer noted the suspect's unsettling penchant for dramatization. Breathtaker tilted his head, a slow, eerie smile spreading across his face. The night was a tapestry of shadows and whispers. Raven Shadow was but a wraith among us, dancing on the edge of the abyss. Breathtaker's cryptic, morbid fascination with the concept of death was disconcerting, yet it offered no concrete evidence linking him to the murder. Can you be more specific? Did you interact with her directly? Mercer pressed, trying to steer the conversation towards more tangible information. Breathtaker leaned back, his cloak draping around him like wings. Our paths crossed as many did in the dance of the night, but death's embrace was not mine to give. I am but a humble messenger of the inevitable. Mercer concluded the interview with a sense of unease. Breathtaker's eerie persona and fascination with death made him a disturbing figure, yet his statements provided no direct link to the crime. The detective left the room with more questions than answers, the shadow of Breathtaker's words lingering in his mind. Playing a hunch went back to Dylan, Captain Starlight. Dylan, we need to talk about Raven Shadow's costume, Mercer began, his tone firm yet measured. Dylan's eyes darting around the room. What about it? He asked, trying to maintain a facade of indifference. Mercer laid out the facts. We know her mask had no openings for the nose or mouth. It seems like a deliberate modification. Can you explain that? Dylan's facade began to crack, revealing glimpses of the turmoil beneath. Look, I just wanted to get back at her, okay? She ignored me, treated me like I was nothing. Mercer leaned in, sensing the confession that was about to unfold. What did you do, Dylan? A mixture of defiance and guilt washed over Dylan's face. I tampered with her mask. It was just supposed to be a prank, you know, to impair her vision during the party. I thought it would make her see how it feels to be helpless. Next was Mecha Queen, real name Mia Langley, a fellow cosplayer and a friend who harbored a secret envy of Raven Shadow's talent. Mia, how did you feel about Raven Shadow's success? Mercer asked, observing her carefully. Mia fidgeted, her hands clasped tightly. She was always the star, you know. I worked just as hard, but it was always her in the spotlight. It's not fair. Her words revealed a deep-seated resentment, a feeling of being overshadowed and underappreciated. Alex then turned to the other partygoers. He spoke to Captain Starlight, real name Dylan, a nerd's nerd. Dylan, tell me about your interactions with Raven Shadow, Mercer began, observing Dylan's reaction closely. Dylan's hands clenched and unclenched as he spoke. I tried to get her attention, you know. Offered to help with her costumes, asked her out a few times, but she just ignored me, acted like I was invisible. Mercer noted the simmering anger beneath Dylan's words, a sense of rejection that seemed to cut deep. And how did that make you feel? Dylan scoffed, his voice tinged with scorn. Frustrated, and her latest costume, it was ridiculous. A mask with no nose or mouth holes? Stupid. She was asking for trouble wearing something like that. This outburst revealed more than just anger. There was a hint of vindication in Dylan's tone, as if Raven Shadow's tragic end was a consequence she had brought upon herself. As two officers escorted Captain Starlight through the crowd, a hush fell over the club. Partygoers stepped aside, their expressions a mixture of shock and morbid fascination. In the corner of the room, standing apart from the crowd, was Breathtaker, his presence chilling amidst the confusion. Dressed in a costume that seemed to embody death itself, he observed the scene with an eerie calmness. His eyes, cold and unblinking, followed Captain Starlight as they were led away, a slow, unsettling smile creeping across his face.
Murder Weekly is a Calaroga Shark media production, written and hosted by Aidan I. Flanagan, produced by Mark Francis, executive producers Mark Francis and John McDermott. Calaroga Shark Media,